morning, everybody, and welcome to Sanctuary Live. It is Wednesday morning. John Cassandra here with you. Glad to have you guys along with us. We're supposed to have a 5-minute countdown, but realized that cut short, so we're jumping right into it, and we are right straight up at the 10 o'clock hour. And so, again, we're excited to have you with us. Folks coming into the room, we're excited again for another week of Sanctuary Live. We have got Pastor Bob will be joining us shortly. And this morning we are pleased to welcome Aderkee Lopez. Him and his wife Michaela are missionaries in Guatemala, and they will be joining us talking about what God is doing overseas. We hit all of our local folks here. A lot of the bands and ministries are going on, and we are pleased to have Aderkee Lopez in with us. It'll just be him solo, not his wife, but I know she'll be with us in spirit. But we're excited to hear what's going on over there, and so make sure that you join us. Again, if you're just logging in, make sure that you share on your social media and let everybody know the Sanctuary Live is live, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, any of our streaming platforms. Again, we're going to be with you for the next hour. And as a matter of fact, I want to welcome Pastor Bob.
Good morning.
Joining us a little sooner than normal. My countdown only lasted for like 46 seconds. It didn't render all the way. So,
Well, and I thought, okay, I have enough time to go grab another cup of coffee, which is
be
pretty
ready for in season and out, man. That's how it works. And so, well, good to see you, Pastor Bob.
It's good to see you, John. Thank you. And
I didn't think I was going to make it this morning. The way the hail, I've got double glass sliding doors in my bedroom, and about 6:30 this morning, I thought the glass was going to shatter, man. It was
really.
Yeah, we got some bad hail this morning, and if you're in Tennessee or Illinois or any of like the northeastern region down into the Midwest, we got pummeled. But fortunately, I ended up with no broken glass. My vehicle's still intact, and most important part, we got power.
And we have power. We had the same storm. We just had the hard rain, but wow, that's something. You never know. Into every life, a little rain must fall.
So you know what? There's somebody should make a song about that for sure. That's
I think we should.
You know, I almost didn't think I was going to be able to join you guys this morning, but I am very happy to be here. And we've got Aderkee joining us this morning from Guatemala. We're going to be hearing what God's doing with him and his wife over there serving in a missions capacity.
And and we've got some amazing stories to share as well, and our connection as well. So that'll be fun to do. So, John, we've got some people joining us today. AV is here. Good morning to you. Folks, if you're signing in, would you please let us know where you're from? John, it's always fun to see where people are watching from, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And guys, as you're texting this morning, let us know where you're from and let us know what your favorite breakfast cereal is. I think that's kind of a unique twist this morning, since we are in the morning hours.
It is.
At least here in the United States.
That's an old Jim Laverty line, by the way. Yeah.
Is that really?
In Sanctuary in California in the 80s, we used to have all of our special guests stand up and give us their name and their favorite breakfast cereal. And
that's funny.
That every week. So,
that's super funny.
Rodney is here this morning from Australia. Got a lot of great friends in Australia, John.
Yeah, the Australia land down under. I just got done watching a wrestling event this last weekend from the UK, from Australia, and that was pretty exciting, seeing all the kangaroos jumping around on the beaches. And, actually, ironically enough, Pastor Bob, I was messing around on social media several years ago and decided to look up my name and see if anybody shared my name, and I've actually become good friends with a John Cassandra that lives in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, that's awesome.
And periodically we jump online just to mess with people. John Cassandra talking to John Cassandra,
That is so, dude, it's just hard to believe there could be two of you.
I know, right? Awesome. As if one is not enough, get a double shot for sure. Joseph, good morning, joining us from Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, Joseph, good to see you. And we had Barry. There he is. Raw oats with sugar. Wow, there you go.
He goes right out in his backyard and just grabs them.
Yeah. So mine would be green eggs and ham, I would have to say.
I don't think that qualifies as a cereal, Pastor Bob.
Yeah. I
Unless
don't,
that's a new sanctuary marketing thing, we can come up
well,
with a breakfast
it
cereal.
could be. Yeah. Of course, I don't do cereal, so I
Gotcha.
don't have a favorite.
So
AV
no
said,
Tony the Tiger, no Frosted Flakes for Pastor Bob.
yeah. No, I do. I don't usually do breakfast actually, but I think I do kind of a brunch and usually an omelet almost every day. An omelet with some meat in it. Yeah. So
That actually sounds really good this morning. I was actually thinking about it,
yes,
but did I implement? No. So had
Diego
other things to
from
attend to this morning.
Argentina. Diego
Argentina
is a
joining
friend
us.
of the ministry.
Yep.
So John, we've got some great shows coming up. Terry Cook, the
Absolutely,
youth there.
yes.
Bacon, of course, bacon.
I don't think that qualifies as a
Just
cereal.
saying.
I don't think our community knows how to follow instructions very well.
It's all right. But folks, sign in and again, let us know where you're from and let us know what your favorite breakfast cereal is or what you eat for breakfast. Angela's here this morning. Looking forward to seeing y'all at the Immortal Festival. She's from Georgia. And John will play a little promo from that in a little bit. But we got the Immortal Festival to look forward to. And we will hopefully be going live at Immortal Festival with the big sanctuary service, which is the third day of the first Immortal Festival, July 28th. It's Sanctuary Day, and we'll talk more about that. John, we've got some great shows coming up, and we talked about that. But next week, we have a real treat for everyone. Those of you that have followed the rise of Angus McSix, the old singer for Glory Hammer, um, Angus has, man, really taken off. And Angus, aka Thomas Winkler, who has been a good friend of mine for a couple decades, and um, he will be joining us next week, talking about the tremendous rise of Angus McSix and that band, and our panel discussion is going to be, where is metal going? What do we look forward to in the future? And so, John, that's going to be a really fun show. We got a panel going. Joey Mancuso, son of Glenn Mancuso from
I thought
Benjamin.
that name sounded awfully familiar.
Yeah, right. He'll be here. Jonathan Himba. Jonathan is a promoter and musician here in Nashville. Adam Cook, of course, the singer for A Hill to Die Upon.
Now, that guy I know.
Yeah, on a panel. And we're going to talk about this subject. It'll be kind of fun. You won't want to miss that. We got Women in Metal coming up the week after. Jennifer Benson will be here with us, John.
From McNesson, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
those guys are great. I've been playing them on my show.
Yes.
And I love the duet they did with Kevin Young from Disciple. And I mean,
Yes,
they're a solid outfit. So
great stuff. And our own Jen and Crystal, two of our ladies who are both metal singers and in our worship band, will be joining us for talking about women in metal. And that should be an interesting topic for us. Also, John, in the same show, we're going to have our worship band from Kenya is going to be
that's
with
incredible.
live from Kenya. They will be joining us live from there.
And just when people think that all the metal stuff is happening here in the U.S.
No. And so we want to touch base with them. They will be doing, it looks like probably the first sanctuary metal album, worship metal album since we did our others in the early 90s. So
the Hiding Place album.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. We got Ray Para that'll be with us in the future, Sacred Warrior, Worldview. We're going to do a special show in a month, John, on the 27th that people won't want to miss on child trafficking. And this is so many things misunderstood. It's much bigger than you think it is. And there's some folks that we work with here in Nashville from Rescue One that'll be joining us. Don't miss that show because they're going to give us a lot of facts and some things, John, that they do in the ministry are a little underground, and we can't talk about everything. But we need to talk about the problem, and we need
Of course. And
to
Pastor Rob, something that's so exciting, we talk about the variety of shows that are coming up. A lot of you guys dial in and you're expecting to be all metal all the time, and obviously, the culture and the community of Sanctuary, obviously, that's a big part of the foundation of Sanctuary, but there's more to the world. And so
well,
it's an
and
exciting
there is,
opportunity.
John, and we've been involved for 19 years now with the homeless, with we work with child and women trafficking as well now, and providing food for families that are taking some of the children in, and we've just been very involved with all of this, and we're um, we're excited that it's not just here, but a lot of the folks that are part of Sanctuary around the world are involved with feeding those that are not quite as um, fortunate as we are and
Yeah.
need a little help up. And so that'll be great.
I love the mission's heart of Sanctuary. When you've done it unto the least of these, you've done it unto
Yes,
me. And
yes,
that go like I said, that goes far beyond. Yeah, there's a lot of great bands, a lot of great music, and everything like that. But being a faith-based organization with that, the heart is bigger than just the music.
yes, huge.
So,
And
yeah,
I think that's such a big deal, and it's such an important point too, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. We're folks, we're gearing up to bring on uh, our special guest for today, and I'm excited to have Aderkee on because he's a hero for us in Guatemala. He's been working with really rescuing people who are starving to death, who are homeless, who are, you know, um, who've gone through disasters. And, there are these guys that are just kind of our silent heroes, John, that
yeah.
don't get a whole lot of press or not a whole lot of attaboys. But, you know, this is a great guy, and we'll bring him on in just a few minutes. John, I wanted to remind people that our program is brought to you by Headbangers Brew. And John, we've got the best of the best. Our winter blend for a little while longer, also, which is Brewed Awakening. But man, we've got the best coffee. And if you haven't tried it, there it is, Brewed Awakening. If you haven't tried it, you need to. It's coffee for metalheads. It's strong, it's good, and it's in your face.
I think if there's one of the Headbangers Brew, I think I would be tempted to try. That would be it.
Oh,
And I think if you're not a coffee drinker, that would probably be a nice introduction to the
yeah, it
line.
probably would be. That's
The
right.
gram, the gram, the cinnamon. I think
Oh,
that's a
wait till you see our spring blend. Just saying. Well, I'm not going to say any more than that, but oh boy, we got some good things coming. John, I want to remind folks that, I get people all the time that say, I'm trying to figure out something to do to bring myself closer to the Lord. And do you have a suggestion for like daily devotions? What should I read in the Bible? All of that. And I just want to remind people that I did write this book called Metal Devo, and it's got something for every day, 365 days. There's a quote from someone in the metal community. There is some scripture to read. There is my commentary, and then at the end, John, there are points to ponder, things for people to think about. I wrote it as a companion to our metal Bible, and so the two of them go together. They're same translation, and they are meant to go together. And we have all of that, John, all of our mugs. Speaking of mugs,
you got a lot of them behind you there.
Yeah, we have a lot behind me. Those are all sanctuary mugs, but this is our weekend. We're having a weekend gathering this weekend coming up, Saturday and Sunday here at Sanctuary, and it's called I Suck and Jesus Knows It. And that's the subject for this weekend, 3 p.m. on March 2nd, and then 9:30 a.m. on March 3rd. And so this is going to be fun, John. It'll be fun to get together with everyone. If you've never joined us for one of our sanctuary gatherings, John, we have a good time, don't we?
I think the gatherings are the epitome to the slogan of Sanctuary: "We are metal, we are family."
Yes.
And it's not forced. There's a natural vibe I think that happens with the community, the food, the camaraderie, the worship time, the music. It's very organic, which is great. Sometimes you can go to church, and sometimes it can feel kind of forced.
Yes.
But I love the natural vibe that goes into the gatherings.
Go with the flow. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, of course, that leads into Sunday mornings, which are now happening on a weekly basis.
Every Sunday,
Uh, yeah,
9:30.
Sunday mornings, and yeah, great
We
opportunity.
call it 242 at the storehouse, John, and of course that's from Acts 242. And there are four things that they tell us in the book of Acts to do, and that is teach, meet, eat, pray, and we do all four every Sunday morning, and of course that's our format for our Saturday gatherings too. So, folks, we'd love to have you join us. If you have more questions, there is the the email to write. Let Pastor Todd know. Todd Bow. Barry says, I love being able to help people. I just wish I could help out more. We all feel that way, Barry. I totally agree. And every time we think, okay, we're bursting at the seams, we think, yeah, but we've got to do more. And we do. We do. We have some responsibility, don't we?
Yeah.
John, I don't feel like we're ever done.
No, and you know what, Barry? I'll mention this to you. It's our heart when we're drawn towards the Spirit of the Lord. There's a sense of urgency, to go out and to reach people,
Yes,
teach, meet, eat, pray. I mean, who better to do that than the Christian community, right? But
exactly.
but I think sometimes circumstantially in life, I think God knows us better than anybody, and don't ever let that urgency die out in doing that. But you plant and blossom where you're at, and carpe diem, seize the opportunity. You always have that opportunity to do that,
Absolutely.
and that's
Yes,
exciting that you're chasing after those opportunities, Barry. So,
it is.
um,
And that's the heart that God wants us to have towards the world, isn't it?
it absolutely is.
Absolutely. Well, folks, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're from, where you're watching from. Michael is here from Ohio, Michael Fitzpatrick, and others that are joining us as we go. Thank you for doing that. And Durwood, good morning, Metal family. Good morning to you. We do have a great family, John. Just as you were
Absolutely.
saying, there, Metal.
Speaking of great family, I'm pleased to introduce this next lady, Makiba Farley. She's here in Kentucky. And as many of you know, and Pastor Bob, I work in the recovery community, and
Yes,
there's a great brother by the name of Andrew Hager. And he's in Lexington area in Kentucky. And Makiba works with Andrew a great program called Blameless Children, and that would be a guy that I would love to get on talking about. Andrew has a background in addiction, and he shares
that'd be
his
awesome.
story. And the Blameless Children program basically ministers to the kids of folks that are in addiction. So if there's a mom or a dad, the kids a lot of times get kind of sucked into, swallowed up, in that.
Yes,
And what Makiba and Andrew are doing is absolutely phenomenal, and creating a culture for those kids, saying you're
awesome.
loved, you're not forgotten, and just
Well,
absolutely
good,
awesome. So
good
we'll
morning.
talk about that. But Makiba, good to see you.
Well, folks, coming up, Aderkee Lopez is going to be here with us. Simone is here. Simone from Illinois, actually Simone from Denmark. She's actually originally from our staff at Sanctuary in Denmark. So good morning to you, and she's awesome. And I believe that her and her husband, Adam, singer for A Hill to Die Upon, will be here this weekend for our gathering. We're looking forward to seeing them. George from Birmingham, Alabama, and people continue to join. Thank you for that.
Be
Coming
heading
up
that way in a couple
right after
months.
the break, we have Aderkee Lopez. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Absolutely. And by the way, don't forget to invite some folks to come and join us. We want to make sure we got a nice little crowd building up, but definitely invite some folks to join us. And as Pastor Bob said, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with
Great.
Aderkee Lopez from Guatemala. Stand by, and we'll be back with you guys here in just a moment.
Hello, Metal family. So I'm excited for the next Immortal Fest. Such great bands, such great people. I hope you're going to be one of them. I'll be there hosting both events this summer. Really excited to spend time with the bands and to spend time with you. Sunday at the first event on the 28th of July will be the Sanctuary Day. We're going to have a service. We're going to have our worship team. We're going to have some special guests. We're going to have a good time. And I hope that you plan to come, and some surprises still to come too. So both events, first July 26th to 28th, and the other the first week of September. Great bands, great time together, family time. We are metal, we are family. I hope to see you there.
And I'm back with my friend John. Do we have Aderkee with us, John?
We will be. I was going to give you a chance to introduce him briefly.
Okay. Well, let's do that. So there are people, folks, that are doing a phenomenal thing in the, not just the metal community, but in the world. And people that see things that are wrong, see people in need, and respond out of the goodness of their hearts. And this guy that we've got coming up, Aderkee Lopez from Guatemala, he's joining us live from Guatemala. And there he is. We're going to welcome him now. Aderkee in person. Are you there? There he is. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So I'm so happy to have you on the show, Aderkee. And I want to start out by telling people how we met, because it's an interesting story.
Yeah.
So my friend Andrew, who I have coffee with quite often here in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, he's a pastor of a large church here, and he called me one day from your area, from Guatemala, and he said, I was meeting this guy to help him as we brought a bunch of supplies and a bunch of things to kind of help a relief effort here. And he said, and when I got to him, he was wearing a Sanctuary shirt. And he said, he went up and introduced himself and told you that he was a friend of mine, and that's how you and I met that long ago. That's been a few years ago now.
Yeah, it's been like 4 years, maybe more.
Yeah, about 4 years. But, let's start, Aderkee, with a little bit about yourself. You're married. You have a new child. Let's talk about that.
She's 6 years old. 6 months old, I mean.
6 months, yes.
Yeah, 6 months.
That's awesome. So it changes your life, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you understand God way more than
yes.
when you were a child.
there are the great things. I don't think you realize how much you can love another person
Yeah,
until you have a child, and it's instant love. That's cool, isn't it?
yeah, it is amazing. Yeah.
Yes. So, but are you getting any sleep these days?
You know, that's the best part because all the stories that I hear from other parents are like they don't get any sleep. She sleeps 12 hours almost every
Really?
night. So she goes to bed like 7, 8. She wakes up at like 6 a.m.
That's incredible. That never happens.
I know.
You are blessed, aren't you?
Oh, huh. Yeah, I am.
That's
It's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
So, so you've got a great family, and you've been involved now with ministry for a while. Aderkee, give us your history. Have you been a Christian for a while, and what does your Christian life look like?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the church and like my dad was a preacher at church and he was a leader at church, so I went to church almost every day. Uh, but I like there was more that I didn't know, and then I got into depression when I was 12, and it was at the same time when I found metal introduced to me by my brother and cousins. So like metal was like he saved me from taking my own life because like I started to feel depression, but at the same time I had metal, so like like it was this constant battle for so many years that I struggled with depression. But then in 2016 I was like, wow, I really don't know Jesus and I need Jesus. So
Mm,
I decided to follow Jesus then. Like I mean I say I decided, but he found me then. um, and from that moment, I started to serve at church. I joined a church, and a bilingual church actually, and started to serve there, going to the hospital to visit the people there, praying for them. And that was 2016. And then that same year, we started serving the homeless in the city of Antigua, Guatemala. With some friends at night, we'll go and hang out with them, serve them food. Then I got introduced to Adventures in Missions for the organization I work for now, and I've been there for 5 years. So yeah, and I feel like since that time, God started to um, speed the growth, the spiritual growth in me. And I mean, it's been an amazing journey. It's been really great. And like I say, I lived in depression for so long. But I always say, if I had to live again, I will live the same life, and I will like suffer again the way I suffer, and I will cry every night like I did for 10 years, feeling alone because it is worth it now. Like I know that God's plan is way better than what I could like. It's better than any suffering. Like I know there is hope, right? And I wouldn't mind suffering again because I know that what He has after that is way better. So yeah,
that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And Aderkee, it is amazing to me how much our lives can be transformed when we allow Jesus Christ to be Lord of our lives, isn't it?
yeah,
And
it's amazing.
everything's possible. So not only was your life transformed, but your focus was transformed. You began to serve the homeless, to serve people that were really in need. And that's how my friend Andrew found you.
Yeah.
I'd like you to talk a little bit about what you were doing during that time that you worked with Andrew, and then give us a bigger picture of exactly what your ministry looks like.
Yeah, so that was 2021, I think. 2020. It was right before COVID, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that time we like I was working in some villages uh, that are like 2 hours away from my house on a mountain, and we were serving a lot of kids there. Like I never liked kids, But once God took me there, He not just made me love kids, but He gave me a responsibility for them.
Mm.
And so I started to learn how to work with kids because I had no idea. So I was working with kids doing a lot of things. At the time, I think I was doing a lot of soccer with them. So I was working with about 100 kids by myself, and
Wow.
and yeah, I'm not really good at playing soccer, but there I was teaching them how to play soccer, and that was just to attract them. Of course, we'll have fun and everything, but at the end, we will always share the gospel with them, and it was amazing. There were so I've been through seasons. Sometimes I have long hair, sometimes I have short hair, but at the time I had long hair, and some kids will ask me, having long hair and tattoos and all these things in those villages is a sin, and you just don't do it. I don't have any tattoos, but I had long hair, and people
Yeah.
will ask, "Why do you have long hair? Why?" And these other kids will be like, "It's because he wants to look like Jesus, because whatever." And then that will give us opportunity to talk about Jesus. And many times, even we went to visit houses, and so we will stop and pray, God, where do you want to go? And He will take us to houses. And many times kids will come with us. And these kids that we haven't taught them how to do these things, but them just by watching us, they will come and pray for the people. And yeah, it's amazing. So most of my work is being with kids. When Andrew came down, he said, I want to go to a place where you guys are not going yet. And he looked at the map and he chose a place. And it's exactly the same mountain we're going. It's just a different village. And after many years, there is a big ministry there of some friends of ours that are working there. And we go there. We send teams there all the time. And yeah, but that's what's happening that time. But
Yes.
what their ministry does is we have three like pillars, I say, which is serve, disciple, and send. So we serve people in whatever way we can, uh, and whether it is like teaching English, which we are doing right now in one of the villages,
Oh,
uh,
great.
serving food, where that is just going to their houses and talking to them, praying with them, for them, building houses, with giving away water filters, with which we are a ministry, but we have a lot of ministers that are friends and connections, and we work all together as a body. It's not just our ministry, but we are the body, so we work all together. Um, and then we do discipleship. We have house churches, and we disciple a lot of families and a lot of people. We go to their houses and just open scripture. Like like these villages are mostly Catholic, and Catholicism in Guatemala looks very different than in the States. So a lot of people just ask. A lot of people are close their doors because we're Christians, and some of the people just open their doors, and what we do is just come and open the word of God and read it. I don't come with, okay, this is the structure, these are the steps you now have to follow, but instead we just read and let God reveal Himself to them, and they see God there. There are people that say, wow, I never opened my Bible since I was 12, and this is a 35-year-old man. Like, I never opened it since I was 12, and we are seeing lives transform. And in
Wow.
fact, there is a lady that we started a relationship with, a family. It was 5 years ago or more, and we started to have a relationship with the family, with her kids. And after some time of gathering with her intentionally, reading the word, studying the word, and now she's going on her first mission trip. This is the first person in this village. Like, people in this village, they don't even speak really good Spanish. Okay, they speak a Mayan language, and that's their main language. And then the second language is Spanish. So they don't speak really good Spanish. And this is the lady. She's at 35, 36 years old. She's already a grandmother,
Mm.
But she's going on her first mission trip, the first person of this whole village, and it's amazing. Like she's going
Wow.
to, it's a group of women that are going from different communities, and so our goal is at the end to not just bring cheeses to people and have them meet cheeses, but that they will now take cheeses to their communities, to their families, even to other nations, and that's what we're hoping to do. We are sending like 4 teams later this year to the Middle East, and that's hard to send people, Latinos, to the Middle East.
Yeah,
Guatemala is being a nation that has been receiving a lot of missionaries for over a century, but now we are sending Guatemalans out to the nations, and
that
that
is so awesome.
that's hard.
So awesome. That's so great. It's the the villages that you've helped have been through some things. I remember Andrew told me that when he was there, there had been a lot of destruction in the village. Was it because of flood, or was it earthquake, or what was the problem?
Yeah, there were a couple of hurricanes. Uh,
Hurricanes. Okay.
yeah, and around our area it wasn't that bad, but in the north of Guatemala it was really really bad. It washed out whole communities, entire communities, and we have friends over there too that do ministry in that area. So we got to go and help build houses for them.
Good.
Um, yeah, and but it's not too far, but it takes a long time to drive up there.
Yes.
But yeah, we were helping with that, distributing food to them as well. Yeah.
So tell us what the average family is like that you minister to, um, because I think people don't really have necessarily a sense of the kinds of people that you work with, and what their needs actually are.
Yeah. So there is a family that we built a house for in one of the villages. The village is called Chirihuyu, and so we're building the house, and this lady, it was preparing lunch for us because it was the last day of us working there. So she was preparing lunch, and she tells me, "Hey, I'm going over there to the house of another friend to borrow one of those new things. I think they call them a blender."
Mhm.
And so, just to give you context, man, like to have a blender for them is a luxury.
Wow.
They use everything, like they use stone to smash the tomatoes or to to smash things. They don't have all this technology. They barely
Yeah.
have electricity sometimes. Um, and so a family, most of the families here, they work on the fields, producing all kinds of vegetables, and a lot of these farmers, it's not like in the states. In the states, uh, you go to this farmer day or whatever, and you buy these um, vegetables and things and fruits, and everything homemade, and everything is way more expensive than production. But here, farming is
Okay.
the cheapest and the least paid occupation. So these people don't make a lot. They grow their own beans, they grow their own corn, they make their own tortillas. It's delicious. uh,
I
but
bet.
like if they go to work, they are being paid like anywhere from 50 Qs, which is like $7 a day, to like $8 or $9 a day, like a full day working under the sun on the field. So those families are making really little money. So in Guatemala, the average um, salary is about $500. Uh, but in these villages, people make like maybe $200 a month, maybe
Wow.
$300 a month for the whole family, and they have to survive with that. Um, they have
Wow.
to pay for everything. Sometimes we got to feed families to houses, and we're talking, and they're like, "Okay, like it's time for me to start cooking lunch," and we're like, "Oh, what are you gonna eat?" They're like, "I don't know, I have nothing. I'm gonna go see out there in in the woods and see what I find. And it's not a great condition they live in, and because of that, a lot of people are fleeing to the States. A lot of the men are escaping to go work in the States illegally, of course. So we're seeing a lack of fatherhood in these villages because of the lack of money, the lack of education, the lack of resources, uh, and so people are just surviving. And yeah, that's
Aderkee, are you saying then that the villages are suffering because of our open borders here in the United States? They're coming in to work here instead of staying in their villages to help. Is that what you're saying?
it. I think two things. One, them going to the States, they're making a lot of money that they are now are able to give their families a better life, but at the
Yeah.
expense of them not leaving their family alone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird position because I
Yes.
don't want them to starve, but at the same time, the family is being split, and there are families I haven't seen their dads for like 20 years.
Wow.
So it's not good, but people, like I said, people are surviving. They're trying to find ways to give to their family what they need.
Yes. And Aderkee, the best way is to help them to help themselves, isn't it?
Exactly.
To not have to leave the villages, because even if they're going to another country, the United States or wherever, that to help their families, the biggest thing that their family needs is them in person, a father and a provider and somebody to help raise them. So, and that has all kinds of social issues then, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There is a lack of everything here.
Yes. So, John, let's run that link once again. And I want to mention this a couple times during our talk today, Aderkee, that people can send finances to help. Here is the location that you can go to on your internet to find a some specific help for the things that Aderkee and the folks that he works with to really help there. Here's your Instagram. Here's your Facebook. We can get plugged in with all of those areas with you. And folks, just an amazing, amazing work. I'd like to switch gears just a little bit with you, Aderkee.
Okay.
And the thing that people don't understand is the kind of musical styles sometimes that you find around the world. Now, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have some of our guys from Kenya
Mhm.
here talking about the new Christian heavy metal worship album that we're putting together there with the Sanctuary folks. And people think, Kenya, how can there be anything in Kenya? But heavy metal is kind of everywhere, isn't it? And
It is.
tell us your history with that musical style. You said you started listening to metal when you were young, and it kind of made you depressed. But you continued to listen to it, maybe a
Well,
different kind.
it didn't make me depressed. I got depressed before, and then I
Okay.
got introduced to metal, and that
Yeah.
was like a lifesaver.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So, so yeah, I started listening to Striper. Of course, I feel
Yes,
like everybody starts there.
it is.
And
Yes.
then started listening to White Cross, Blood God, Holy Soldier, um, and then I started to discover um, a lot of more music. Yeah, I actually went to a White Cross concert here
Great.
and a Guardian concert, and most recently I went to a Rock
Yeah.
and Narnia concert here in Guatemala. It was
Great.
amazing. Yeah, but
They
yeah,
get
that's
around.
the music I've been listening to. And
That's awesome.
here in Guatemala, there are bands too, metal bands, Christian metal bands. and they're amazing. But the support is not big. Like I said, uh, anything in Guatemala is crazy. They used to call me the devil at school and at church before when I was young because I would listen to metal. They will call me names because I like metal. I mean, metal for most Christians here is a sin. So
Yeah.
it it's hard to live this life sometimes. Now it's okay, but for me, but it used to hit me a lot before. Um, but yeah, there's a big community of metal here. It's just I feel like we are so spread out that we don't we don't really know each other very well.
Well, and that would be one thing that would be great to do, Aderkee, and you and I need to talk a little more about that. We'd love you to represent Sanctuary there in
Ooh,
Guatemala and see if
that's
we can't
great.
get some of the folks together. Because, folks, if you're watching from Guatemala and you know, and obviously it's a big country, but if you happen to be in that area or you'd like to be, let's start working on that. Let's start bringing in some more bands, maybe, and encouraging more bands to come. And let's see if we can't help the country out a little bit. I know there's a lot of metalheads there. You know, in our Spanish speaking countries, metal is huge,
Hmm.
huge. And the festivals that we've done in some of the Spanish speaking countries, everywhere from, you know, Brazil to Mexico to, you know, quite a few other countries, we've always had big crowds and people very excited about it. And you know, the guys in White Cross, I love those guys. I had them here on the show a couple of weeks ago, and they they just get around. I you know, whenever I talk to Rex, he's always telling me where he's just been, and I'm always amazed at how much he travels and how much he gets around.
Yeah.
But you know, there are some people in our community, Aderkee, that are really dedicated to bringing the gospel of Jesus Christ through heavy metal music.
Yeah.
And you're not the first one to go through the Christians believing that you're satanic
Yeah.
because you listen to it. That's how we started too. And when Sanctuary first started, you know, people said that I was satanic. And, you know, Michael Sweet from Striper was my first worship leader. And, you know, they said that the worship and the music and everything was, you know, all satanic. And I think it just, you know, you learn very quickly that you don't have to like something for God to use it.
Yeah.
And don't you think that's one of the hardest things for Christians to
Ooh.
understand?
Yeah. I thought, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. I have that same problem with country music, Aderkee. You know, I can't understand how God can use it.
Oh, there is music, Latin
Uh,
music. Man, I just can't.
I know. And I have a lot of friends that do country, and some of them are in some of the biggest country bands around. And I love them and I appreciate what they're doing. And I just don't like the music. I can't
Yeah.
get into it. So I understand, you know, when people say I don't like metal, I think, okay, and I don't like country. So I understand that not everything is in our personal taste, is it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so. So, Aderkee, let's continue a little bit with your personal life going on with this. Tell me, you know, I always love to hear the stories of how Christian metal has influenced people's lives. And I want to tell you, Aderkee, that we're very proud of you.
Mm.
We're very proud of the work that you're doing there. I'm excited about what God is doing in your life and in the people around you as a result of you working with them. Um, but I know that that comes from a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
And the more that you receive his agape love, the more love you have to give to those people around you. Some people say that heavy metal destroys that love because the music is too harsh and, you know, it hurts your ears and it's nothing loving about it. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. I think most times when I was younger, I will be actively and intentionally sinning. uh, and doing bad things, and then I will listen to metal, and metal will bring me back to God. And metal, like I will be listening to mortification or deliverance,
Yes.
and it will bring me back to the gospel, and I'll run to my house and repent and just God, like, oh, what am I doing? Like, but like, yeah, I feel like metal helped me come more to God in my times of need than any like Christian messages or preachings or whatever. So it gave me a lot of hope, actually, and I believe that, um, yeah, like at least for me, coming from this background of metal and all this, now me going and I mean, preaching the gospel or sharing the gospel with, I don't know, I will say now thousands of people personally, not in like in a crowd, but like personally to maybe thousands of people going all around the villages. Man, like, it's worth it, and I think that, yeah, like metal brought me happiness, joy, and of course, I'm not coming to people and now, okay, now you need to listen to metal. Like I said, like you said, like not everybody will like that, and most people will still think that I'm a sinner because of that. But my joy doesn't come from metal, but it comes from God. But God used metal in my case, so now the joy that I have, I can bring it to people in a way that they can receive it and understand
Uh,
it. Not necessarily metal, but whatever way they need it, I know that God will give me their wisdom to meet them where they're at and to give them what they need in the way they do.
isn't that the greatest part about it, Aderkee? I think, it's at the end of the day, it's not about the music, it's about the message, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a message of hope wrapped in the music that a lot of people like. And you and I are both into metal. We both enjoy the musical style, and I think it's awesome that we can bring that style into metal and all over the world into different kinds of musical styles. One of the bands from Sanctuary, in fact, the singer for the band is a Sanctuary pastor. Is called Christafari, and
Okay.
Christafari is a reggae band. So we're not just metal; we have reggae as well and a few other forms. But it's on the edge music. It's music that really appeals to certain groups and certain kinds of
Yeah.
people. And so, how many times do you share music with people who are looking for Christ and looking for an answer in their lives? Do you ever say, "Why don't you listen to this album or that album"? Is that ever something?
I Yeah, I've got not a lot, honestly, but there being a couple of people in the US actually that people that we know that they listen to metal, but non-Christian metal, and they're people really into depression and stuff. So I've got a chance to share with them, and I think I can count with my hands how many times I shared the music with people because most people just don't like it. But I don't know. I'd say like 4 or 5 times maybe. But it's been one guy from the US my age, and then some other younger guys here in Guatemala. Yeah,
Hmm.
but it's like uh, actually a couple of boys from Tennessee, a whole family. They came to Guatemala like 4 years ago too, and um, and and they saw me wearing this striper shirt, and they're like, "I want to listen to that." So they started to listen. I think I got them into metal, more metal than their parents did. So
Well,
yeah.
that's awesome, dude. And by the way, we need to send you a new Sanctuary shirt.
Oh, that
So
would be
I'll
amazing.
make sure that we do that. We get your address and send you.
You know, I got this shirt that says um, "Death, death is death." Um,
Yes.
so I got one shirt, but I got it. It was a mistake. I got a small size,
Yep.
so I had to send it somewhere else because that's not my size. I
Yes.
think I got another one, but But I got two of those, but the first one was a wrong size.
Well, we need to update your shirt collection, don't we? Yeah, that would be a good idea.
You know what I did? I think most of my shirts were from different bands and all black. And not too long ago, I still have a few metal shirts, but a long time ago, I gave them all away,
Really?
most of them. And I think I have a picture somewhere of my whole collection on the ground.
Yeah.
um, but I think it was a, a way of God asking from me and me telling God, hey, my happiness don't come from having shirts. Like I still have some, but like my joy doesn't come from this. My identity is not in my shirts, it's not in my music. I love doing photos and video, so my identity doesn't come from this any of these things, but it comes from you.
Good.
But it's amazing how like when I surrender something, God always brings more.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. Love that. It's good to kind of check your heart every once in a while to see where it's at
Yeah.
and who you're serving. And it's like Bob Dylan said, you got to serve somebody.
Yeah.
Who are you serving? And that's a
Yeah.
really good question, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
We are so proud of the work that you're doing there, and I want to put your um, giving ID there on the screen, if we could, one more time. If people want to help with the expenses that you have in serving your communities there, people really in need that could really use some help, and you believe in the ministry that Aderkee is doing, check this out. You can go to his Instagram, his Facebook, or go direct to this link where you'll find an opportunity to give to the ministry.
Yeah.
I appreciate that so much. Aderkee, it's been awesome to spend some time with you. I hope that you'll come back and give us some updates in the future. Let
Yeah.
us know what's going on. We're behind you. Folks, let me just say real quick that we've got some great shows coming up. We have next week, you don't want to miss it. We've got Angus McSix with us from Switzerland, former Glory Hammer singer. And this new band that he's put together is selling out stadiums. They're doing a phenomenal job. And I have known Angus, stage name, or Thomas Winkler is his real name, for a couple decades. And he's a good friend. And we're excited to talk a little bit about where is metal going and what's going on in the world with metal. And Aderkee, it's kind of fun to see the new bands as they come out, to listen to the new musical styles, and to kind of keep our pulse on it. So
Yeah.
so we'll be doing that. The week after, we're going to talk about women in metal, and we have 3 Christian heavy metal singers that'll be
That's
joining
good.
us.
I'm trying to get my wife into metal, but she just
Oh, cool! There you go. We'll have to listen to her sing next time.
yeah. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Well, folks, thank you for joining us today. Aderkee, thank you for joining. It's so
Thank
great
you,
to have
Pastor.
you here. Blessings to you and your family, your new child. How exciting that you're 6 months old already. It doesn't seem like it's been 6 months. I guess it has. But
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, and then your extended family there that you work with, and in feeding and building and helping those that are less fortunate around you. We are proud of you. We're excited about what you do. So thank you once
Thank
again.
you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor.
Good. Thank you. Folks, don't forget, next week, same time, same channel, we're back again with another show. We'll have Aderkee with us again in the future. We'll kind of check in with him every once in a while. Want to see how he's doing, how the ministry is doing. But folks, in the meantime, don't forget this weekend at Sanctuary, the Sanctuary Gathering. That will happen this Saturday and Sunday. The theme is this: I suck and Jesus knows it. And that's what we're going to talk about for the weekend. Lots of people that will be there, lots of bands, lots of people involved as family in this wonderful metal movement. And so if you're able to join us, that would be great. And don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.